All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. They work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Sports Network. I am Ace, and I'm joined tonight by none other than the Vic, and you are watching another episode of Sportsminute. Now, I'm not really sure what's...
Take a bathroom break. She'll be right here.
I like it. All right, Vic. How's it going tonight?
It is going fantastic. My little Yoda boy wanted to say hi to everybody.
All right, so before we go ahead and jump into some topics, how about we do a little bit of housekeeping? So when it comes to housekeeping, the first thing we got to do is we have to talk about the sponsors, right? So we're going to talk about our first sponsor. So Vic, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry?
Paparazzi. PaparazziAccessories.com/160920. This is great stuff. I've ordered there twice. That's three. This is two. It was here within 5 days. FedEx dropped it right off on my front porch. Quality stuff. Everything's $5. You got necklaces, earrings, bracelets, rings, you name it, it's there. It's lead nickel free. It makes great just because gifts, Valentine's Day gifts, birthday gifts. She's our sponsor. She was our first sponsor. She's the best one that we've had. She's always there. She trusts us. Let's support her. Suzanne Paparazzi, paparazziaccessories.com. Go there now, 24/7 shopping.
And of course, Vic, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that Misty Meadows and their wonderful barbecue sauce and homemade jam and all that.
Oh, Misty Meadows is my favorite too. They have quality homemade jam and jelly. They've got gift packs. They've got ketchup, mustard, salsas, barbecue sauce. You can order 6-jar gift packs. You can order cases of this stuff. It's fantastic. They got barbecue rub. They also have olives for those fancy people who like olives. They're in Bandon, Oregon on Highway 101. Phone number is 541-347-2575. You can also go to OregonJam.com 24/7, all day, all night. Order online, have it shipped to you via UPS. Get it right at your doorstep. And you know what? Who doesn't love a good case of jam? I mean, come on. They got blackberry, wild blackberry, raspberry, blueberry, pepper. You name it, they got it. So hook it up. Come on.
Everybody loves that delicious jam.
Oh, all my God. It's so good. I had one a couple weeks ago. Fantastic.
So the last thing that we're going to touch on really quick is obviously those free T-shirts. So I just want to say right now we don't have any comments. Hopefully pretty soon that the comments will be rolling in so we can talk about your comments. But
roll
if you want to win one of those free T-shirts, all you have to do is like and share our page. And then number 3, just hop on there and comment. And every time you comment, you enter yourself into the drawing to try and win one of those free T-shirts.
Do it.
Now, the more you comment, the better chance you have at winning one of those T-shirts. And Madison is our reigning, defending viewer of the month. So I'm going to give a shout out to Madison and say, Madison, good evening, and I hope you're having a fantastic evening. All right. And then, of course, if you can't hop on and comment because maybe you're at work or whatever, but you hear all these people talking about shirts. You see people with these ASAP shirts. You're like, I want to get one of those. How can you do it? Well, that's pretty simple. It says $25 on the screen, but that's not accurate. The actual price right now is $14.99 plus shipping and handling. Who would not want one of those shirts for $14.99? I tell you what, those shirts are
So
fantastic. They're so awesome. We all love the shirts. People are loving them. And Madison's going to get hers very, very soon. And she says she's super excited to be Viewer of the Month, and I'm happy for her. She's rightfully earned it. Thank you, Madison, for being Viewer of the Month.
Thank you, Madison. We appreciate it very much.
All right. So as we know today, we had some awesome playoff games. We had 3 of them. I know Vic is a little sad because
I've got nothing positive to say about any of the games.
We will go ahead and jump into your game a little bit later, but obviously the first game that we're going to talk about is the Buffalo Bills versus the Indianapolis Colts. Now,
it's a shame.
Yes, I know it's a shame. Now I understand why you're upset because you're an Oregon Ducks fan and you're going for DeForest Buckner. But besides DeForest Buckner, I will say that during this game, I caught myself rooting for Phillip Rivers. I really wanted Phillip Rivers to get another playoff win because there has been a lot of things swirling, asking if Phillip Rivers was going to retire or Phillip Rivers was going to come back. We're not really sure yet. If he does come back, he says he's not going to play for anybody else but the Colts. Now, if the Colts will bring him back is a whole nother story.
Whole story.
But why don't we go ahead and jump into this game a little bit? So when we look at this Indianapolis Colts and Buffalo Bills game, the one thing that I said multiple times today in the chat was I said that the Colts actually cost themselves the game. It was more of the head coach because they lost they left 7 points off the board because you got to think at one point they 4th and goal at the 5. 4th and goal at the 5. You're up 10-7 at that point. Why not take the 3 points? Instead, Frank Wright goes, you know what? We're going to go for it. They go for it on 4th and goal. They don't get the touchdown. So you just left 3 points off the board. Now, guess what? You lost by 3. So those 3 points. I bet he
feels pretty stupid right about now.
But don't only forget about that, though, too. You also got to remember that the kicker missed the field goal.
Oh, God. Everything just hurts.
Everything hurts, right?
Buffalo didn't win this game. Indianapolis lost this game.
There was so many questionable play calling in this one that I was questioning why Frank was calling the plays he was calling. I just didn't understand it. They left so many points off the board that would have actually put the Colts in favor of winning this game. So we actually have a comment from Tim Fielder that says he needs to retire.
That's He doesn't even. If you're at the goal line, your QB, you can't trust your QB or feel safe having your QB do a snake.
Okay, so Vic, before we go on, then answer this question: what do you think Phillip Rivers does?
What's Indianapolis's pick this year? What number are they?
Well,
who's the backup?
The backup is Jacoby Brissett.
Oh God, I don't really like him. But we got Carson Wentz out there available. Yeah, Cam Newton available.
No.
I think Indy passes on Phillip and he retires.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna. I think they want to move forward and rebuild with a. Oh God! What word am I looking for? I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a word. A quarterback. A franchise quarterback. That's what I was looking for. So they're gonna go out and I see it. Carson Wentz would be a great fit here. With Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman in the backfield and out receiving, I think that'd be a great combo. So I think Indy passes on signing him, and they move a different direction.
So Landon Hammonds actually has a comment that Landon's asking, going on the Dak Prescott side, saying, do you think that Dak Prescott could be a good fit in Indianapolis?
I would like Dak Prescott anywhere but Dallas. There's a lot of players I don't like because they play for Dallas. And Dak's a great guy. He's a decent quarterback, and I think he'd do really well in Indianapolis. I think, there's a market for him, and I think he's going to come back from his injury, and, who knows?
So here's the thing. So we have Tim Fielder, who's on the side here, who's taking shots at Phillip Rivers, saying that he's technically good for getting in the playoffs and losing. Yeah, I get it.
You can't be taking shots when it's the truth.
Well, now it is the truth that he loses in the playoffs, but you got to respect what the guy has done in his career. Yes. And we've talked about it multiple times, saying Phillip Rivers should be a Hall of Famer. There's no reason he should not be a Hall of Famer.
No.
He's got the credentials for it. The only thing he's lacking is the ring. That is it.
The rings. That's not the figure. That's just the ring. He wants the ring.
Now, jumping into this game a little bit more, when you look at the final score, the Buffalo Bills won 27-24. Phillip Rivers actually played pretty well in this game.
Yeah, no interceptions, which is
he wasn't horrible. He went 27 of 46 for 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So Phillip Rivers actually played well enough to win this game. The defense that's supposed to be really, really good. If they would have made a few more plays, they would have really helped the offense. But this defense did not show up today. That's why I was so sad. I thought that if there was any chance for a team to beat the Buffalo Bills, it would have been this Indianapolis Colts team, just based off of the defense. Now, Vic.
Yes.
On the Buffalo Bills side,
they got some stuff they got to work out.
Josh Allen.
Yeah. Josh Allen.
There was I will say this, because last year, he struggled in the playoffs last year against the Houston Texans. He really, really struggled. This year, you see him as a new man. So as you saw him today in this playoff game against the Indianapolis Colts, how far do you think this Buffalo Bills team can make it?
If next week plays out like this week and your quarterback is your leading rusher, then you're not going to win. You can't have your 2 running backs have 21 yards each. That's just ridiculous. You need a running game, and your quarterback can't be your leading rusher. If their running backs can show up, Josh Allen's got the arm, and he can run. Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about that. But he should not be your leading rusher. That's that's dangerous, because he could get hurt, and then what are you going to do?
Now,
so if the running backs show up, they have a good chance next week.
Yeah, because when you're talking about this running game, okay, you saw at the end of the game, or in the fourth quarter, the Indianapolis Colts were down by 14 points in the fourth quarter. You saw them start coming back, because once the Indianapolis Colts started stopping the Buffalo Bills, what's one thing that Buffalo could not do? They could not run the football to eat the clock. That was their problem. And so since the Buffalo Bills could not eat that clock because they couldn't run the football against a team that's really, really good, that can put up a lot of points, that's going to come back to haunt them. So when you look statistically at the Buffalo Bills, how many times do you think they ran the ball with their running backs?
The Bills? 10.
The Bills.
10 times.
10 times. They ran it 10 times with their running backs for a total of 42 yards.
Yeah.
10 carries for 42 yards. Josh Allen ran the ball 11 times for 54 yards.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Okay. So Landon and Tim want us to address the monkey in the room right now about the fumble, the so-called fumble. What do you think, Vic? Do you think it was a fumble, or do you not think it was a fumble?
Oh,
Because to me, it was really, really the thing that they were looking at, and the reason why I'm really, really close, because the thing that they were looking at was he contacted with his knee down? Now, it was close. It was really, really close at that point. You're trying to watch it, and you're like, maybe his knee wasn't down, but was his shin down? Because if his shin was down, he's still technically down.
Yeah.
So they were looking at the knee. They were looking at the shin. Yeah, it was close.
You need a 10K camera to cut hairs with that one. I think. There's no way to really tell unless you're like right there with like 100K camera and have all the grass and the shin and the leg and the knee. It was it's just one of those.
Yeah, and you can't say that he gave himself up because you could see he got back up and was attempting to run. So he did not give himself up. So that was the first thing.
I think that's cheap anyway. I mean, if a quarterback slides, giving himself up. But if they dive forward, they're not giving themselves up. No, not happening.
No, with him, you saw him go down, get back up, and attempt to run, and then he fumbled it. Now, in my opinion, I know a lot of people are saying it was definitely a fumble, and it's easy for us to sit here on watching it live and then seeing it on the replay and saying, hey, it's definitely a fumble.
Yeah.
But it's hard to know exactly what they saw because there might be some kind of images that they had that we didn't have. Now, from my angle, I'll tell you, it looked like a fumble. Clearly, from my angle, it looked like a fumble. But what angle? But what angle did they have that we did not have?
They had the angle where they wanted Buffalo to win.
They had the angle.
I don't know.
Well, no, because just think, if they wanted Buffalo to win, they would have given Buffalo the ball right there because that was the Colts that had the ball. It was Pascal who fumbled the ball.
Right.
And so it gave the Colts another – because the game would have been over right there. I mean, clearly, it would have been over. Even though the Colts got the ball back, they still didn't do anything with it.
Right.
But it's just one of those things that people are going to try to address for a while and talk about, was it a fumble? Was it not a fumble? All right, so let's talk about some other players of the game in this one. So let's talk about Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, who made a huge difference in this Buffalo Bills offense. Stephon Diggs today had 6 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown.
And some nice Bruce Almighty cleats, I might add.
Oh, those were awesome cleats. Those were awesome cleats. I love it. I love those cleats. Those were awesome. All right, so you did address now. You said how far you thought that Buffalo would go. I'm going to say I'm waiting to see who they're going to have to play tomorrow before I will give you an answer on how far they're going to go. Because what if they end up playing Pittsburgh? I know they can beat them. I know they can.
I'll get into the Pittsburgh thing later, but I think Pittsburgh, someone on that team jinxed themselves, and they're going to get the crapola kicked out of them.
Juju. All right.
Juju, yeah.
So the things we've already talked about. So the things we've already talked about in this game was that we've talked about the horrible play calling on the side of the Indianapolis Colts. We've talked about the running game for the Buffalo Bills. We've talked about Phillip Rivers. We've talked about Josh Allen. All right, so the next game that we're going to talk about, jumping into that next game, we're going to talk about the LA Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. And I know, Vic, you are a little disappointed in this one because, you kind of jump back and forth and you tell me you're a Seattle fan, but then I see you going, yeah, go Chargers because of Justin Herbert. So I think
can be fans of two teams as long as they don't play each other.
You can have a rooting interest in one, but be a fan of another one. There's a team that you can say I like to watch, but you have to be a fan of that other team. So if you had to say you're a fan of one team, and you have a rooting interest in the other one to watch them, what team would you actually be a fan of?
Chargers.
And you just have the rooting interest in the Seattle Seahawks.
Because they're Northwest. I mean, yeah.
All right.
I like both. But
Nate, next slide,
I'll
please.
pick the Chargers over the Hawks if I had to. And I really wish Will was here because I have this growing bulge of hatred for Jared Goff, and I need Will to just help me get that out right now. I think he's horrible, and I wish nothing but bad things upon him. Anyways, and shall we go?
Yeah, so we shall go and talk about this game because I'll tell you, the interesting thing about this game, you kind of have to feel bad for John Wolford in a way, right? You kind of have to feel bad for him because he comes out, he gets his second start. He doesn't even make it out of the first quarter. And he ends up getting hurt, and then guess what? In comes Jared Goff. Now, the one thing that I will say about this game, because we were talking about it too for a while, this was a game to where both quarterbacks were struggling mightily in this game. It was like it was such a snore fest. This game was a snore fest because neither quarterback could complete a pass. That's how bad it was. Yeah. And I'm not going to discredit the Rams defense because that defense is killer.
That defense is why they won the game.
Oh, period. Absolutely. That defense is the only reason why the Rams are in the playoffs this year, period. Because they have the number one defense in the NFL. The thing that I'm wanting to see is how if Cooper Kupp is healthy and how injured is Aaron Donald. Because you could clearly see that Aaron Donald was hurt. And it looked like it was his ribs. That's what it looked like. I don't know if his ribs are like fractured, broken, or just bruised. I don't know. But I'm waiting to see. And the thing that I gave the Rams a lot of credit for is because that on defense, Aaron Donald is their true leader. Like that's their leader on defense. But he left and they were still able to get pressure on Russell Wilson.
That's because the O-line was just pathetic.
The O-line is horrible.
They need to address that this offseason big time.
They might, but we've been saying this a long time about Seattle. That one thing that they need to address is their offensive line, and they've never done it. But I will say this. The other thing that I was surprised about is when it comes to playoff time, we give a lot of hard times to Rodgers in the playoffs and then Breeze in the playoffs and Rivers in the playoffs for not being able to win those games, right?
Right.
But as of late, with those playoff games, you kind of see how Russell Wilson has been struggling in the playoffs a little bit also. When you look at his numbers today, his numbers were not great. He was 11 of 27, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick.
Yeah.
11 of 27, 16 incomplete passes. So 11 completions. Under 50%. No, under 50% completion percentage. People talk about DK Metcalf being one of the best in the NFL at receiver. I'm not discrediting that at all. I think the guy's a great receiver. They have a Tyler Lockett who people don't give him enough credit for because he's a good receiver also. But this Seattle team this year has kind of been interesting because if you remember the first 8 weeks of the season, how it was the offense that was carrying the defense. And then it kind of flipped. And then later on in the season, the offense went downhill and then the defense started stepping up. So it kind of went that whole flip-flop here. So Vic, go ahead and give me a little bit of takeaway in this game for you.
Takeaway, Seattle has a lot of things they need to address. Their defense just never really got it together this year. I mean, they've got superior talent in some positions, but in other positions are just flailing like a dumpster fire. Russell Wilson needs to. God, I don't even know what he needs to do. I mean, he needs better protection. I mean, he can't scramble and evade every snap. It's not something that he possibly could do or can do or should have to do. They got outplayed today by inferior LA Rams offense. The defense is what won the game. Seattle couldn't stop the run to save their life pretty much today. So it was a deserved loss. I mean, they need to regroup and come back next year with a better O line and maybe a better running game, because they got the receivers, they got the QB. They need that. They need the beast mode. They need a Marshawn Lynch to solidify that position. And Chris Carson, as much as I love him, he ain't that guy. So, I mean, congratulations to the Rams. You beat an inferior Seattle defense. Next week's not going to be your week.
The Rams, I will say, the Rams defensively showed up. Their offense, getting into the offensive side again. You know who really carried them on the offensive side of the ball, and this one was Cam Akers. His first playoff game, he looked good. And so Cam Akers had 28 carries, 131 yards, and a touchdown. But then he also had 2 catches for 45 yards. So Cam Akers was a big part of this offense, because when you look at Jared Goff's numbers, yes, they were Goffle, as people like to say. Goffle. Jared Goffle.
Goffle.
Yeah. You have 9 of 19, 155 yards, and a touchdown. 9 of 19. So the total completions in this game, there was 20 completions combined in this game between both quarterbacks. That's how bad of a game it was. Tim said he actually fell asleep multiple times through this game because that's how boring it was. Now, the one thing I will talk about offensive line, like we were talking about in this game,
yeah,
I will jump to this, right? So you remember, and I don't want to get too far off topic, but here's my question. My question is this: how are people able to sit here and criticize Carson Wentz in Philadelphia when he was sacked time and time and time and time and time and time again? Because Carson Wentz had no time in the pocket, and he got sacked time and time and time and time and time again. And they're like, oh, it's Carson Wentz. He's garbage. He's terrible. But then it comes to Russell Wilson. It's like, oh, he's fine. He just needs a offensive line. Well, okay, so if you're going to give one guy a hard time because he doesn't have an offensive line and getting sacked time and time and time again, it's kind of hard not to blame the other guy too. So we as fans need to get on the same page and figure out, if you're going to blame one guy for getting sacked so many times and being like, he's terrible, even though he's getting sacked a bunch of times, you have to look at the other guy too and be like, okay, maybe he's doing bad too, even though he's getting sacked. You can't look at one guy and blame it on him. But now, Tim, you're trying to say that he had Peters and an all-pro left tackle. He did, but their offensive line was in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out all season long, just like Seattle. So that's the only point I'm trying to make, is if you're going to blame one guy for being bad because his offensive line is bad, you got to blame the other guy too. So that's really the only point that I'm making on that one. All right.
Yeah.
So, Vic, you're already saying that the Rams are done next week. You're already saying they're done. You're coming here saying that they're done.
They're done. They're done.
So it's not going to matter if Aaron Donald is back and Cooper Kupp is back.
No. Not going to matter.
Jared Goffel. As long as they had Jared Goffel.
They're going to, they're toast. I hate them.
Toast.
Toasted.
All right, Nate, next game. So obviously it was the Sunday night game. We had the Washington football team versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, here's an interesting one, right? Because who saw Taylor Heinicke playing this good? And you're shaking your head, Vic. You are shaking your head.
I didn't even know who he was. I didn't know he played professional football. I mean, I heard Alex Smith was not playing. And I'm like, who's going to start? Steve Montez from Colorado? Because I didn't even know Taylor Heinicke existed until he started the game. So,
well, he played last. It wasn't last week he played, but he played a little bit the week before.
It's Washington football. I really didn't pay attention until this week, really.
No, but
I mean the you know.
No, but I'm saying you got to give credit though.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah, absolutely. He balled out. I mean, he had some big plays that are gonna maybe warrant him a Case Keenum contract, but I don't think he's the guy.
So his numbers today, 26 of 44, 306 yards, a touchdown, and 1 pick. Now, that pick he threw was not his fault because it was actually tipped at the line.
Right.
So that interception was not his. His scrambling ability is amazing.
Pretty good, yeah.
When he got away from where everybody was like, oh, he's getting sacked on that touchdown where he dove from the 4.
Yeah.
I was like, that was incredible. Taylor Heinicke, man, I'm telling you, this guy is going to get a shot somewhere. And I'm telling you, if Washington is smart, if Alex Smith is saying this is his last year in Washington, they need to look at him. They need to look at Heinicke and be like, you know what? We need him. Let's give him a shot. And yes, Landon, I do agree with you. That diving touchdown was absolutely amazing because there was several times in this game to where you thought he was going to be sacked and he escaped. He escaped and picked up the first down. The part I was sad.
We also have to remember, I mean, Kyle Allen is Ron Rivera's choice, and he's coming back. So
he will be back. But after seeing
this, might get a shot. But I mean, Kyle Allen's Rivera's guy.
I can see a quarterback competition
based on one game.
Absolutely, based on one. He went up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and
we're not listening from the Kirk Cousins and Case Keenum adventures.
Good. He looked this good. I'm telling you, when it comes to that, Ron Rivera might be like, we're going to have a quarterback competition because how can you not? I know you're like, after one game, it is one game, but it was not only one game, it was a playoff game. It was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoff game, which nobody even gave Washington a chance. Right. And he gave Washington a chance in this game. The thing that I was really happy for in this game was that originally when he went down hurt and they talked about how Montez was supposed to come in, I'm like, no. I'm like, Heinicke can not end the game like this. It would have been an atrocity for him to have to leave the game and not finish it due to injury in his first playoff start, especially as well as he was playing. Now, you remember the first drive when he threw that deep ball to Sims?
Yeah.
And his opening drive, that ball should have been caught. That would have kept the drive going. A few incompletions that he threw today was not on him. They had a few drops. The one that he knew he missed was when he had a wide open Logan Thomas on the 3rd and 4 when they were at the 10. And if he would have completed it, they would have had a first down and they would have kept the drive going. And they potentially could have scored a touchdown. But he overthrew Logan Thomas on that drive. And he knew he missed it because he came back up and said, "That's on me. That's my fault." That is what I truly respected about him. When he made a mistake, he came out and said it was his fault. I felt like he was doing everything he could to lead this team. And I respected the heck out of his teammates for coming out and being like, yeah, this is my guy, especially on that diving catch when Chase Young came out and was like, yeah, this is my guy. This is my guy right here.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, he had a great game, but I mean, it's one game. So if he can, win the starting job and prove me wrong, more power to him. But we also have to remember all the Case Keenums, the Josh Freemans, the 1-year wonder quarterbacks, the Kirk Cousins that had the big year, got the big contract, and then fizzled out. So he needs to show more than just one game for me to buy into him.
All right, so we were only talking about the offense. So how about we talk a little bit about this defense here of the Washington football team? Because this Washington defense football team was
so good.
Yeah, and they're gonna only get better. The one person that I thought was gonna step up a little bit more on defense was Chase Young. He didn't really have a big game today like he should have when he came out and did all that talking and been like, I want Tom, I'm coming after Tom.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not an official and I'm not, a football genius, but I know what a hold looks like. And he looked like he was held a lot that wasn't called. So I mean, we can't blame him if in that case. I mean, Chase Young, he said, "I want Brady." That's the whole point, right? He's the guy that's supposed to sack Brady. There's nothing wrong with him saying that. That's what he's supposed to do, and that's what he wants to say. I mean,
but my point is if you're going to come out and you're going to talk, you got to be able to walk the walk.
And he can walk the walk. He just didn't get the opportunity.
And well, I'm talking about in this game. If you're going to come out and talk in this game, be like, I'm coming after you, Brady. You got to make sure you come out and actually do what you say you're going to do. And I'm not only talking about Chase Young in this game, but that front, that defensive front on that defense, they're good. They're really, really, really good. And next year, they're going to only get better.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the reason why I kind of cut you off there on that whole ref thing is because I've said it multiple times. When people come out and start talking about referees and everything else, that drives me nuts. And the only reason it drives me nuts, and hear me out on this, this is why. Because it's blasphemous when people come out and say, you know what? If the refs would have done this, if the refs would have done this, you know what? That's crap. Throw that out the window because I don't even care. If you're going to win a game, you got to come out and do your part by scoring points. Who scored more points? Tampa Bay scored more points in this game. You should not have to put the game in the refs' hands in order to win a game. That's purely the way I see it. So I never like to blame referees on games. Now, let's talk. You look snake bitten right there.
I mean, that wasn't my point at all, but whatever. Let's just move on.
Right. No. It's okay. So clarify. What was your point?
My point was not saying that if the penalties had been called, they would have won. I'm just saying he didn't get the opportunity to back himself up because of that. I mean, and maybe there are a lot on the other side too that weren't called. Things need to change in the officiating world. That's great, but I'm not saying it would have changed the game. I'm just saying it would have changed the opportunities that he would have had. I mean, if somebody's holding you, you can't rush the quarterback when you're being held. I mean, that's just common sense. So that's all I was saying.
So we've always said there's holding on every single play. Virtually every single play, there's holding. It's just how blatant is the hold. And so I think that that's where a lot of people are they're so confused when it comes to holding, because they've said it before. There's pretty much holding on every play. It's just how blatant is the hold, and is it bad enough to where it's going to cost the team yards or whatever? Well, I don't know. I wasn't really watching that. I was just enjoying the game. I was enjoying the Heineke factor in this game. That's all I was saying. Okay. So what's Landon saying? But if you're being held and it's not called, then you can't get sacks. I understand, but come on. I don't want to go too far into referees. That's not why we're here. But anyways, so let's talk a little bit about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Overrated.
So people were asking me who I'm going for tomorrow and the Bears and Saints game because of me being a Packers fan. Everyone's like, do you want to play the Rams? Do you want to play the Bears? Well, here's my thing. I don't care at this point. But what I want is I want the Saints to win because I want Drew Brees to put another beat down on Tom Brady. Like I think he will if the Saints play the Bucs again. He's got him twice this year, and Brady struggled both times against the Saints. And I think Drew Brees wants to play him again to show him, you know what? I'm still here. This is my division until I'm ready to give it up.
Yeah.
But this Bucs team, what'd you take away from this game with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Like I said a couple weeks ago, once they play a real team, they're just a sham. They're nice. They're like a. I don't know how to put it politely. They're real pretty on the front, but once you get past that, they're the dumpster fire. Tom Brady's old. He can't scramble. Saints defense. If Saints play them, they're gonna go crazy on them. I don't know. Well, I'm not a fan of Tom Brady, and I don't want him to succeed anywhere. So I guess I'm a little biased on that part.
No, but that's how you can beat this Tampa Bay team. All you got to do is put pressure on Brady because he can't run. So if you can put pressure on Brady, that's how you can beat this Tampa Bay team. And what's one thing that the New Orleans Saints can do? They can put pressure on the quarterback. Now, the Bears could too, but that wouldn't matter anyways because we'd play them that next week. But anyway, how far do you see this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team making it?
They're done next week if they play the Saints. They're done.
So let's say for instance like this. So let's say
they make it out of today.
Yeah, but I'm saying let's say that the Chicago Bears come out tomorrow. They beat the New Orleans Saints. Can this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team?
Why are you even putting that out in the universe?
Because we have to put that out there. Because anything can happen. So what if they come out and beat the Saints? What kind of shot do you give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Rams?
Well, the Bears' defense is pretty decent. Khalil Mack on the front is just crazy. I don't see them beating the Bears either, to be honest.
No. Now, remember, if the Bears win tomorrow,
right,
they would play us, and then the Buccaneers would play the Rams. So that's why I said, what kind of chance would you give the Buccaneers against the Rams?
You said the Rams, or they said the Bears?
No, the Rams.
Oh, God, that's two teams I hate that I don't even care about.
Right?
Can they both lose? Is that possible?
Not in the playoffs.
Oh my God, that's like I can't even deal with this right now. My head's gonna explode. That's like me picking do you want to eat curdled milk or do you want to eat rotten tomatoes? I don't want either. I want to throw them both away because they're both bad for me. I can't even pick. I can't. My mouth won't spit out an answer.
Well, keep in mind the Rams beat them this season already one time. because of how good that defense is, and they can put a lot of pressure on Brady. And people are saying that give them the Bucks to beat the Rams if the Bucks play the Rams. But I think that the Rams could put enough pressure on Brady to where they could beat the Bucks. I don't trust Jared Goff in any way, shape, or form. But I think that defense, as we've seen, they've been carrying that team this whole year. I don't know if the Bucks would be able to hold up against the Rams defense.
Well, let's just go with my happy place where the Saints win, and that matchup never has to happen.
All right, there you go. Then it won't have to happen. All right. So how about we jump into tomorrow's game? So tomorrow morning game, like people are looking at this game going, and that's actually not the first game. The first game tomorrow morning is actually – oh, we got some things going on here in the background.
We got a lot of stuff happening.
But that 10 o'clock game tomorrow morning is
Ravens and Titans.
Yes, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Tennessee Titans, a rematch from last year's AFC divisional game that we saw the Tennessee Titans beat the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
How likely is it that the Tennessee Titans beat the Baltimore Ravens again?
Not likely.
And I think you're saying it. I think you're saying it because you don't like the Tennessee Titans.
Well, I think Baltimore learned from last year. They were a little arrogant and big in the head last year, thinking Tennessee wasn't a real threat. So they didn't steady up on Derrick Henry. They didn't know what Derrick Henry was capable of. Now they do. And teams have learned that if you stop Derrick Henry, you win the game because Ryan Tannehill can't do anything without Derrick Henry. So if Baltimore can stop Derrick Henry, they can win the game.
Last year, though, the biggest thing that we saw in the playoffs last year was that Derrick Henry took over in the playoffs. That was why they were able to come in and beat the Patriots in the wild card. Because Derrick Henry. Then they were able to come in and beat Baltimore because of Derrick Henry. And then they even had a lead against the Chiefs because of Derrick Henry. But then the Chiefs were able to stop Derrick Henry, and Tennessee could not keep up. Now, if Baltimore wants to win this game, they're going to they have to stop him.
Make Ryan Tannehill beat you, and he can't do it.
Ryan Tannehill is not going to be able to win you a game. He has to rely a lot on Derrick Henry. Now, if I ask you right now, if you had to trust the quarterback more between Lamar Jackson and Ryan Tannehill, which one are you going to trust more?
Lamar.
Ooh. Even though he's never won a playoff game, you're still going to trust Lamar more.
Lamar can scramble. Tannehill can't.
Tannehill can scramble. He's not
like
as good
Lamar?
as Lamar Jackson.
Like Lamar?
No, not scramble like Lamar. I'm not saying he can
scramble 90 yards for a touchdown like Lamar can. If I have to choose, yeah.
I'm not saying that Tannehill can scramble like Lamar, but I'm saying Tannehill can scramble. He can. He can run the ball when he needs to.
Like Lamar.
Why does he have to scramble?
If you had to choose between who scrambles better,
it's Lamar Jackson that scrambles better.
That's why. I know. That's why I said Lamar. He scrambles better.
But here's the thing, though, too. When it comes down to what quarterback you're going to trust more, you're only saying that you trust Lamar more because he can scramble better? That's why you trust Lamar more?
That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why.
I'm telling you, though, a reason why I would trust Tannehill more on the passing side is because he's more accurate. Tannehill is more accurate than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is a better runner, knowing, though, that Ryan Tannehill can run the ball, too. He can. You've seen him do it.
Not as good as Lamar.
So you keep going back to not as good as Lamar. I get he can't scramble as good as Lamar. But if it comes down to it in a pure passing game, pure passing game, I'm going to trust Tannehill more in the passing game than I am Lamar Jackson.
No. I like Lamar's chances.
So you're saying right now, and it's okay because we're going to have differing opinions on this one. You're taking Baltimore in this one.
100%.
I'm going to go the opposite way, and I'm actually going to take Tennessee just because, just to make it fun. Because you took Baltimore, I'm going with Tennessee just to make it fun. Because we have differing opinions about what quarterback can pass better and what quarterback you trust more. You said you trust Lamar Jackson more. Because so are you telling me I'm wrong by saying that Ryan Tannehill is a more accurate passer? Are you telling me I'm wrong about that?
That's your opinion. It doesn't matter whether I think you're right or wrong. It's your opinion.
I'm asking you though.
If I think you're right or wrong? Yeah. Why? It's not going to change your opinion.
Oh no, it's not. But wow.
Do you think I'm wrong?
About no, because you said the better rusher was Lamar Jackson, and I said I agreed with that. But I said when it comes to passing, I said Tannehill is better than Lamar Jackson. But so Landon is calling you out, Vic, saying the Vic is taking some Freddie Henderson type takes.
What's that mean?
People call Freddie Mr. Delusional because he takes a lot of delusional takes.
My takes aren't delusional.
Not all of them, but
they're not delusional.
But and Tim actually makes an interesting point too, because it's about that Derrick Henry stiff arm, man. That guy's got a massive stiff arm.
Yeah.
Freddie Henderson saying, I disagree. What do you disagree about there, Mr. Henderson? I want to know. What do you disagree on? Because you tend to disagree on a lot of things, but I'm not sure exactly what this one is that you disagree on. So just so everybody knows, she's got Baltimore. I've got Tennessee. I think Lamar Jackson takes another loss. But what defense do I trust more? Obviously, I trust the Baltimore Ravens defense more, but I don't know. I just can't trust Lamar Jackson. I just can't. All right. All right, Nate. Oh, so Freddie's saying on Lamar being a worse passer. That's what he disagrees on. Woo.
Woo.
All right, Mr. Anderson. That's for another day. That's for another day, sir. All right, so the next game we have is the Chicago Bears versus the New Orleans Saints. Vic, we already know where you're going with this one. You already know.
How do you know?
Because you already said the New Orleans Saints, because I said what if, and you're like, don't speak that bad up in here.
I remember that now.
Yeah, yes. Exactly. So I already know.
Don't put the crazy talk. Don't put the crazy talk out in the universe.
Right. So, for sake, because we have to talk about this game, how can the Chicago Bears beat the New Orleans Saints?
Oh, wow. I guess they got to stop Kamara. But then you got passing, so you have to stop both of them, because if they don't got one, they got the other. I mean, Chicago's offense isn't going to win the game for them.
So
they're going to have to pressure Drew.
So Freddie has the Saints by 10, but he's saying it's going to be a close game. I can see it a close game because we all know that Drew Brees is another one of those quarterbacks that can't run. And so if you put a lot of pressure on Drew Brees, that's how you can beat the Saints. And we haven't even heard if Alvin Kamara can play yet. He's supposed to be at that borderline to where he can or can't. So I'm waiting to see, even though they do have – because wasn't that interesting last week to where they had to put Ty Montgomery in the backfield because of all the running backs with close contact because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I will say in this one, we cannot have differing opinions on this one because I do agree with you that the New Orleans Saints are going to win this one. I honestly don't think it's going to be close. I don't. Some people are saying it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be. I've got the Saints. Honestly, I think they're going to win by at least 14, and the only reason it's going to be 14 is because Chicago's going to score a touchdown at the end to bring it to within 14. But I don't – it's only due to the simple fact I don't trust Mitch Trubisky. I don't trust him. I never will. And I don't even like talking about the Bears because it's just one of those teams. And I know you're biased on a lot of teams because there's a lot of teams you hate, but like the Bears is like one team because they're our biggest rival that I'm like, oh, I can't go for them. It's hard for me to say good stuff about it. The only thing that I do say good about the Chicago Bears is their defense. Their defense, they have a great defense. Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, Danny Trevathan, Kyle Fuller.
Yeah, they get a stellar defense.
Oh, absolutely. If they're going to win this game, absolutely their defense is going to win them this game. They're going to put the pressure on Drew Brees. That's how they'll win. But you know who's coming back tomorrow? Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is going to be back tomorrow. So Drew Brees is going to finally have all of his weapons at his full disposal as long as Alvin Kamara plays. If Alvin Kamara plays, then bam, he'll have Kamara, he'll have Sanders, he'll have Thomas, he'll have Cook. All of his weapons are going to be back.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what's going to really hurt Chicago is if they have to get into a shootout with the New Orleans Saints, I don't think they have enough. Because David Montgomery for the Chicago Bears the last 3 or 4 weeks has been averaging over 100 yards rushing. But what is one thing that the New Orleans Saints does best? They slow down the run. They stop the run. People have a difficult time running against them. And so if Chicago cannot run the ball against the New Orleans Saints, then you got to trust Mitch Trubisky, and that's not going to turn out well. So I want to look at some of these comments here that's going on. Will this be the third straight year that the refs will miss the crucial call? Oh, my gosh. Why are we doing this? Don't make me do this, Tim. Don't do this to yourself. Don't do that. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to come on here and start talking about the referees. And Freddie Henderson, why are you asking if his Eagles play tomorrow? Why do you have to do that, man? Oh, my gosh. Are your Giants playing tomorrow? All right.
Oh, he's a Packers fan. Don't you remember?
Yeah, I forgot. He came out and did say he was a Packers fan. But all right. All right. So I've got the Saints. You've got the Saints. All right, Nate, let's go on to the last game of the night, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns. We all know that their head coach isn't going to be in this game. So do you think them not having their head coach is going to make a big difference?
No. He can call plays from his bedroom. I don't know.
You don't know. So what team are you taking then? Who are you taking?
Well, I don't like people that say stupid things. And when you say stupid things, it makes me not like you and want to root for you. So ergo, Juju Smith-Schuster, you said some stupid things that are probably going to cost your team the game because Cleveland's now a little angry. I'm taking the Browns just out of spite because I don't really? I am. I think they're going to break the curse and go with it.
Wow. That's I was not expecting that. This to me is going to be really, really tough. I don't know what side I want to go with because Cleveland's been hounded by COVID.
Yeah, they tell truth in interviews, Nathan. Yes, they tell truth all the time.
Huh?
I was just answering Nathan's comment.
But we all know that Cleveland's been hounded by COVID a lot. Like they've been hit with COVID hard. And That's why it's hard. It's hard for me to root for Cleveland in this game, even though they have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Now, remember, the Steelers had pretty much all backups in Week 17 against the Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns only won by 2 with Mason freaking Rudolph at quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what concerns me going. I don't care that Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are in. That's why it worries me, because they could barely beat a Steelers team that had their backups in. And their starters are going to be in tomorrow. I got to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cleveland Browns' dream season comes to an end.
Boo.
I'm sorry. I have to do it. To do it. That Steelers defense is legit. That defense is really, really good. TJ Watt. I'm going to ask you now, who gets Defensive Player of the Year? Is it TJ Watt? Is it Aaron Donald? What? Is it TJ Watt or Aaron Donald?
You're not going to like my answer.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going neither. Yep.
Okay, who are you going with then? If it cannot be TJ Watt, who leads the league in sacks, and then you have Aaron Donald, who's second in the league in sacks, who can you go with?
It's a very easy answer, and you're not going to like it.
Let's hear it. Wait. Hold on before you say it.
Okay.
I'm going to take a shot in the dark here because you are an Oregon Ducks fan. You're going to look at the Indianapolis Colts.
I am.
I think I know where you're going with this, and you're going to say DeForest Buckner. And I'll tell you, shocker.
Shocker. The man's numbers speak for themselves. It's a shame that he was not voted to the Pro Bowl, because he is the best in his position over the 2 people that were voted to the Pro Bowl. He's legit, and I don't know. I'm biased. I'm a little biased, absolutely. I mean, but he's had a great year, and I'm not biased just based on because he was a Duck. The dude's got the numbers to back me up.
Oh,
he is a beast up front. I mean, I could have gone like Troy Hill. He's a Duck, but he plays for the Rams, which is I won't get into that one.
Yeah. All right.
But his numbers support my decision.
The numbers support your decision. Well, you're talking about that, but now we also have another person who's trying to break up Xavier Howard, which had 10 interceptions this season, which we haven't seen that in a long time. But I'm telling you right now, I am going to have to, as much as I said at the beginning of this season, before the season started, in our NFL kickoff, our Labor Day special, I said Aaron Donald was going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I'm still 50-50 on whether he is or TJ Watt is. It's really, really close. I don't know which one, but man, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Watt just based off of numbers. I'm taking him, and so they have Watt, and I think Watt
can't go wrong.
And I think Watt takes this game over, and I think that's why Cleveland loses. So I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You're wrong, but it's your opinion.
I'm wrong, but it's my opinion. All right. So if Pittsburgh loses tomorrow, Vic, I'm going to ask you this right now. If Pittsburgh loses tomorrow, is Big Ben done? Is he done?
No. He's a narcissist. He won't be done until he's done on his terms.
All right.
He should be done, but he won't be. He's got his new elbow. He feels like he's invisible.
Okay. So that's all the games that we have for tomorrow. We are looking forward to the final 3 games of the weekend. It's finally taking shape for who each team's going to play next week. So before we jump off here, let's talk a little bit about Anchor. So with Anchor, we'll bring up Anchor, and then with Anchor, so let's say you want to listen to the episode of Sports Minute tonight. You want to know what we talked about because you know it's our football night and it's playoffs, and you're excited to hear the playoff subject. All right, so what can you do? Well, you just go to Anchor. You can download the app or hop online, type in Anchor, and find Sports Minute, and then you can listen to our entire show or whatever portion of it you want to listen to. You can fast forward it and listen to that. Or even if you're looking at us going, how can I do that? Well, you can do it on Anchor. All you have to do is look on Anchor. It gives you step-by-step instructions on how to start your own podcast. Anchor is a great way of doing that. All right. And then last but not least, Vic, why don't you tell me one more time how you can win one of those t-shirts?
Very simple. Like all these people on our right, leaving comments. Just put out the most comments in a month, and you can be viewer of the month, and you win a free t-shirt. You engage in our shows. You talk about sports. You talk about your opinion. Everyone's opinion matters. They're not all right, but that's why they're called an opinion, because they're not supposed to be right. So, yeah, comment, viewer of the month, get your free t-shirt.
All right, now
it's pretty easy.
Now, what if you can't comment?
Oh, so if you have no fingers or you're driving, don't pay attention to that price. It's $14.99. $14.99 plus shipping and handling. You can get your very own t-shirt shipped directly to your door. Whatever size you want or need, it's yours. It's black. It's fantastic. Black is very slimming. Makes a great birthday present. Or just because you want to wear some swag. Everybody loves swag. $14.99 plus shipping and handling. Buy one, buy two. Buy one for your grandma, because grandma would love to have a little swag going too.
All right. So with that being said, Vic, I'll give you 30 seconds to say whatever it is you have to say. It's your final remaining remarks of the night.
My final remaining marks of the night. I don't really got anything. Ducks won, finally. It's been a rough week to be an Oregon Duck fan. Congratulations to Andy Avalos, new head coach of the Boise State Broncos. Sucks that you're leaving us, but it sucks that you're going to a worse team. But it's your choice. Saints are going to roll it tomorrow. Drew Brees is finally going to get over that hump. He's going to get back to the Super Bowl this year. I feel it.
Well, with that being said, then
stay safe out there. Don't buy any wooden nickels. Make sure you take care of others. You know, see somebody in need, step up, help out. It's a rough time for everybody.
Be
a decent human being. That's all.
You had me going until you said the Drew Brees remark, and then I lost interest in your topic.
Well, I lost interest in your topic like an hour and 6 minutes ago.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a fantastic night. And so Mess Around is saying that he got some swag thanks to his best friend Ace. And he's right. I got him a shirt. So he's very thankful for that. That was my gift to him. That's my brother. All right. So anyways, you
just feel bad for him because he's a Bears fan.
So I hope everybody has a fantastic night. Enjoy the football games tomorrow. Woo! Tomorrow morning is our pregame. And not only is it our pregame, but tomorrow we also have Mess Around Dave versus Brandon Herrera in another first round of a debate.
Brandon Herrera. Where is Brandon? Was he not here today?
He was not here today. I don't know where he is.
Oh, Brandon.
Right. So everybody have a fantastic night, and we will see you next time for another episode of Sports Minute. So later, have a great night.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. They work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. play.